Very good morning to you. Thank you as always for joining us here on Global Morning. This is Global Television. We're live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Uyi Agbomofoegbe. Well, Juma is not wearing a jacket today. I don't know. I thought she would have thrown a jacket over her outfits. Who knows? Maybe that would have made her look more like a corporate worker than a broadcaster on the show this morning. But as always, Juma never lets the ball out of her hands. She looks dashing. She looks elegant, and she brings that sparkle once again. Jumai, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Uyi Agbomofoegbe. It's great to be here. And of course, to our viewer out there, good morning to each and every one of you. It's an amazing time, and it's great to be here on Global Morning. Hi, Uyi.
Hello, Jumai. Welcome to the program. That sounds like you're a guest on the show today.
Exactly.
It's good to see you as always. We stay grateful again and again and again, given that we have life. We can complain all we want. It's okay. But we've got to appreciate what we do have so we're not distracted by what we do not have just yet.
Very true. I always tell people that you should be grateful. It doesn't matter where you find yourself, because believe me, that spot that you're on there, you are much more better than someone else again. So you should be grateful and thankful always. It's very important. And I think we forget that because we feel entitled. So many people feel entitled and they forget to say thank you so you can have more. People really forget that. But you know, staying grateful and thankful is key. It makes a lot of difference in our lives. It gives you that positive energy that all will be well, even when it's not really working like what you wanted to expect. But at the same time, you are thankful, you are grateful. It goes a long way.
It does. I know, it's basically about what you do with your situation, right? Some persons will complain when things go downhill. Others will look at what opportunities lies therein. Take advantage, elevate themselves, learn the lessons at least. All right, valuable lessons, not just for yourself, but such that you can even share with others who may be dealing with the same situation.
Very true.
You know, first year in university, my friend shared a story with me about a guy who, at a point, was suffering a heartbreak. Real life story. All right, but he turned that moment of his life into coding. I mean, software coding, and the next thing you know is he writes a software that has changed how people think and interact.
Fantastic.
I'm not just going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but it's to say that what we do with our situation is in our hands. All right, you lose something valuable to you. Maybe a marriage, maybe your job, maybe a project that means a lot to you. Maybe a project you've been working on for 20 years, for example.
True.
It will break you naturally, no doubt about that. It will make you want to throw a pity party, or what Americans call piri pari, for yourself. But someone else can be in that same exact situation and say, you know what, I'm not going to let this break me. I'm just going to see it as a learning curve. And then life goes on. Yeah,
life goes on. Very importantly, where you put that energy matters also. Heartbreak is a serious problem, but there's sometimes where marriages, there's divorce, separation, and all of that, where you put that energy really matters. Some positively, some negatively, and it takes a toll when it's negative, but it takes a bigger, better toll once it's positive. So it's better where you create that balance. Yes, it hurts. Yes, there's the voices will tell you, oh, okay, you don't have to, you know, there are a lot of negativity vibe that comes with it, but the positive one is the one that, now look at this person now, the coding guy that is very big now. We won't be talking about him if he wasn't relevant, and because he put his energy in that, and that is why it makes it relevant, knowing that you can always turn a bad situation into a good one. It doesn't matter where you find yourself, just be grateful and you see how things work out fine. And you know, they say you make the possibilities are sure. So it's very important that you understand all of that, basically.
You know, as if I knew this conversation was randomly going to pop up this morning. Just yesterday, I was reflecting on myself, right? I was thinking, I mean, hold on a second. Look at what we have across the world today. Different foundations. Foundations focusing on sickle cell, diabetes, what else? Cancer of all kinds and things like that. Now, you go behind it and you realize that the people who started these initiatives, for the most part, they are those who had lost loved ones, parents, children, siblings, you know, spouses to these sort of diseases and ailments. And they say, look, I may have lost one person to these, but I will work my fingers out to ensure that we don't lose any more people, or at least we mitigate the impacts of this sort of thing. And
creating awareness.
Exactly. It's a radical way of thinking. But again, we understand how very depressing it can be when you find yourself in the valley, so to speak. Well, a lot to talk about on the show today. Officially now we understand that the Nigeria Police Force has now formally acknowledged that there has been abductions in Kaduna State.
A little bit of confusion there.
Right. On Sunday, we were told that in the course of church service, 3 churches were attacked.
Yes.
And people, going by some reports, numbering about 177 were taken away. But by Tuesday, the police said nothing like that had happened. The Kaduna State government said nothing like that had happened. The local government authorities there said nothing of such happened. But we do understand now that the police has officially come out through its Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin, to say that, look, actually it did happen. But of course, as regarding the denial, the police say it wasn't a denial. It was, quote unquote, a measured response to ensure that it did due diligence in terms of finding out what the details were, what actually had happened on the ground before it would come out to formally put out a statement. But that again appears lame. However, the fact now is that 177 persons by the Punch newspaper report had been kidnapped. 11 of them, we understand, escaped, all right, unhurt. So 166 people are still in captivity. In the meantime, we are learning that the abductors are asking for 29 million naira deposits. Now, take note, the operative word, deposits, 29 million naira. I don't know what that means, whether it's to say that when you deposit 29 million, we start talking about terms, or you deposit 29 million, we release a few persons. Pending when you pay some extra money, we now release. Maybe, are they going to batch the releases? I'm not so sure, but I'll tell you what bugged my mind from home to work this morning. It is a question of how did we get to this very precarious point in our nation, in our history as a people, that human lives have now become transactional commodities.
Exactly.
All right. In fact, one of the eyewitnesses, somebody who was there when all of this happened in the community, said that one had happened sometime earlier this month of January, where they had to pay 23 million naira to secure the release of those who had been abducted. He said they carried the money in bags. And when I saw that, what crossed my mind was some drug, mafia, crime movies I saw growing up as a young boy. But again, this is a society where we're supposed to have systems to check these excesses. So I'm asking myself, how do we now measure our successes against criminality? This is Kaduna State in 2026. This is not Kaduna State in 1975. Neither is it Kaduna State in pre-colonial days. So, Juma, I am bothered.
Yes, I am bothered also that insecurity is on the rise again. From kidnappings to abductions, we keep, like I mentioned before, we keep going back and forth when it comes to this issue of insecurity. And for the fact that they are demanding for 29
deposit.
It's a toll to it concerns really that human beings, like you said, are transactional, and at the same time it looks as if with what is happening with the U.S. intervention, individuals are not even scared. They're making it worse. In fact, making it look as if yes, there is something like the Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. Christians are being involved when it comes to church. Not talking about the fact that individuals in the northern part who are Muslims also are being involved in all of these issues of insecurity and all of that encompass. It's just unfortunate that we need to, in fact, I am speechless about this issue. It seems as if insecurity is not going to go away anytime soon. It's becoming on the rise on the daily. And of course, individuals in this particular hierarchy are trying as much as possible to cover it up, but I don't think they're doing the right thing by doing that. So it's important that like the Chief of Army Staff, he said he's up on his game when it comes to this issue of insecurity, assuring the people of Plateau, Jos, especially when I read that news.
Those are flashpoints.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, I think we need to do more. We should not be relaxed, forgetting about the intervention that happened in Sokoto. Well, but I think more needs to be done when it comes to insecurity in Nigeria.
Sure, no doubt more needs to be done. But we have more conversations on the program for you as well. This morning, we'll be taking a look at issues around, again, the proposed gold refinery. This time with specifics as they have to do with what the concerns of the northern Elders Forum. They are also referencing some constitutional provisions as to saying that, look, it is very clear from our own 1999 Constitution as amended that when you find or discover, as they say, a particular resource in a specific location, it is only natural, and of course it is, as it stands, statutory, that such location should enjoy, for whatever it's worth, the benefits of establishing or citing institutions, agencies, and even structures and systems around that same place for the purpose of justice, fairness, and equity. Has that been done in this instant case? We'll find out in the course of the program today. Second, we'll look at the state of the nation with regards to the politics of Nigeria, again, as it has to do with 2027. The political parties themselves are reinventing, if you like, their internal mechanisms, even in the face of all the hurdles that they have to scale. For the Labour Party, it's a bit dramatic and drastic at the same time, giving a court judgment that has now handed leadership of that party to the Senator Nadi-led, Usman-led executive leadership. But again, what does that mean for the Abure faction of the party that believes that it is the legacy, if you like, leadership and structure of the Labour Party? We'll get a very high-ranking politician to help us look at what exactly is unfolding in front of us at this point in time. Please stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, so we'll take a look at development that is, not being, if you like, largely noticed right now in terms of its impact, because it's, as they say, insidious. That's the protests, which has been in series. We have come to see with local contractors who say that the federal government owes them at least 4 trillion naira over projects that they say they have executed. We understand that the standard practice is once you've executed a project, and then the entire process is carried out, the government does its assessment and is satisfied with the projects you've executed, there's certificate of completion issued. Next line of action is you get paid whatever you're entitled to as far as that project or those projects are concerned. I mean, here at Global Television, time and again, we've done coverage, news coverage, that is, of contractors who protest today to Ministry of Finance, tomorrow to the National Assembly, and things like that. It became so embarrassing last year, for example, that they even held a meeting with the Minister of Finance, who again doubles as coordinating Minister of the Economy. And then there was also the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin I should say Kalu, there. One would have thought after such a meeting we're good and the rest will be history. But this is January almost coming to an end. The contractors are still asking for their money. And that's not even the story now. The story now is that we now have, as you're hearing, at least 1,000 civil society organizations saying that they are calling for the resignation of the Minister of State for Finance over this issue. I'm wondering, do we owe foreign contractors like that as well? Because as far as we know, the government has not come out to say we don't find the projects you executed unsatisfactory. If that was the issue, we can say, okay, well, both parties can say it and talk about these issues and resolve. For example, upon assumption of office, we saw Engineer David Umahi, Minister of Works, hold several meetings with contractors, both local and foreign. At some point, local contractors at one time, the next time, foreign contractors. You could tell that those meetings were geared towards ensuring that the parties involved were clear as to what your responsibility was, what was due you, and things like that. So at this point, we've not heard anything about the government saying, look, we're not satisfied with the project you executed. That could, who knows, maybe legitimately and legally be a basis for delay in payments or remittance of any kind. But when you see contractors protesting like this, and government also comes out to say, we're seeing government come out to say, by so and so time you'll be paid, by so and so day you'll be paid, which means government has no issue apparently with the projects that have been executed. But how that you still have not paid them? Yes, we know that public service can be bureaucratic.
Yes.
But is it bureaucracy over, if you like, progress, development, or is it the other way around?
You know, sometimes you just wonder, and that is why there are various strike actions ongoing just to get attention.
Again, right.
So that's why we have back-to-back strike actions, because you're not giving me what is due to me.
You're leaving us no choice.
You're leaving us no choice, and I need to seek your attention. And if this is the only way to bring you out, I will definitely do it. So as long as contractors have executed this contract and they are good to go, and like you mentioned, if it was about you're not meeting up to standards, or there was a time, I can't remember, sometime, is it last year or so, David Umahi, he came out and was telling those contractors, I do not like what you're written on this is below standard. Why is this? And the contractors were standing there and they realized that it's not business as usual. He's up on his game and following through with all contracts that were executed to these contractors. But it's not the same as what we're seeing now. It's not below. We've not heard whether it's below standard, which we do not know. We do not know whether they did not meet their timeline. Because these are all under the whole contract factors that could, because the TOR, terms of reference, will state all of these issues. Did you meet your timeline? Was it up to standard? And all of that. But maybe now that they know that it's not business as usual. Definitely, contractors are really up on their game. You see on the highways now, they're working, and that's why in some areas in Abuja they don't have network because it is Tottenham when it comes to that issue. But at the same time, Uyi, it doesn't stop, like you mentioned, national development. If you do not pay contractors, they will not be willing to execute contracts again. So that means there is a bridge in that particular aspect, and it becomes a problem for national development. And I think we all had to. It's very important that meeting up to standards and implementing payment is key. Like I said, you cannot be going out and asking for contracts and at the same time there are no payments involved when it's time. It's just unfortunate, but this is what it is, and that's why we have back-to-back strikes. And if you look at it, the origin of strike, how it started, one individual starts it and then it just expands, and it's just unfortunate, really. But we get to hear from the government to know what is actually causing the delay and why they've not had a roundtable discussion concerning this particular issue of finance, or when it comes to contracts and the biddings.
All right, well, let's get you inspired as always this morning in the course of the program. Here is Ramsey Enoch Agbo with Inspirational.
This is Heart to Heart Inspirational, and of course we need to let ourselves know that, all right, if life were easy, strength would be unnecessary. Do you get that? If life was an easy thing, we don't need strength now. We don't even need mental calculation. We don't even need to do anything because life is easy. Everything is just going smooth. You just sit down, relax, whatever you want to do, you do. My mother would say, if money were leaves on the tree that you can plug anytime. But it's not like that. Life is not easy, and that is why strength is required. Anyone that tells you life is easy, then that person is not doing you well. No matter how rich your parents are, ask them, is life easy? They will let you know the truth. And the earlier you realize this, the better, so that you don't lag behind, so that you don't just live a careless life, so that you don't live your life like there is no tomorrow, so that tomorrow don't take you unaware, like some civil servants who will never think about retirement until retirement meets them face to face. This is something of 35 years. What preparation have you done? Depending on pension, waiting for pension? All right. Well, with what's happening right now in our own country, I think a lot of people are becoming wiser, because pension itself, well, I don't know who is doing who strong thing, but then I just want us to know that life is not as easy as we think. Whoever that is putting it forward to you that life is easy, I don't think that person is doing you any good. Life is easy. With faith, life is easy. I'm not displacing the place of ease. Life is easy if you know what to do. Yeah, life is easy if you know what to do. Then strength is also required. But if pressure didn't exist, a power wouldn't develop. Because what you're facing right now is not evidence of weakness. It's not because you're weak. Yes, it's not because you're weak. Sometimes these things happen. It's happening to other people, just that they are not voicing out the way you are voicing it out. They are not complaining the way you are complaining. Sometimes complaint don't even solve the problem. Because what you're facing right now is not an evidence of weakness. It is a proof of capacity. Your ability to subdue whatever the situation is what matters. All right? Some people, I don't want to say, but then I know of business owners, especially people who take risk in business. Sometimes if you know the kind of money they lose, you will be shocked. Sometimes we even insult them. But the day they hit it with that risk, oh my God, they can make double of what they've lost. All right? So it takes a man with a large heart, a heart of capacity, someone who has capacity. all right, to make such moves. So sometimes what's happening to you and what you're doing is not a sign of weakness, it's not a sign of foolishness, but it's a proof that you have capacity, and it's a proof that you are growing, and it's a proof that you're ready to change level, and it's a proof that you are tired of the status quo. You want a change of level. You want it to be better than what it is right now. Life, as a matter of fact, attests us not to break us, but to reveal us. Pressure exposes the strength you didn't know you have. I tell you the truth, pressure exposes the strength you never knew existed on your inside. So sometimes your ability to overcome pressure sometimes matters. And that's why when you're going to look for a job in some other places, you hear, all right, do you work under pressure? Sometimes it happens. You don't beg for it to happen sometimes, but it happens. Even at home, in your family, it happens. Between you and your siblings, sometimes you see some things, some kind of pressure comes. All right? Those pressures exposes your strength. Your ability to handle those pressure, those times is what matters. It makes you. The weight you are carrying build your muscle in your character. That is true. What am I saying? I'm trying to let you know that the weight you are carrying sometimes is building your muscle in your character. Storms don't last forever. That reminds me of one of Kirk Franklin's songs that we used to sing those days. Storms don't last always. All right? Storms will come, whether you like it or not. In as much as life is there, storms must come, but it doesn't last and it doesn't exist all the time. But resilient people do exist, irrespective of the kind of storm they have been faced with. You've survived things that once made you cry. Am I telling your mind? Am I saying the truth? Am I saying your mind? Yes. Those things that made you cry sometimes back, you survived it. By the time those things are happening again, you already have the muscle to withstand it. You've overcome moments you thought would end your life. Some things happen and you say, oh, some people think they are finished. Maybe a grace available for this moment. That same strength is still inside of you. There are strengths on your inside that have not even manifested. All right. So when pressure comes in your business, in your family, in what you do, in your pursuit for success, don't allow yourself to be weighed down. Let me take gold, for instance. It's been refined by fire, not destroyed by fire. Any gold you see shining today, it went through a refining moment. What refines gold is fire. Fire. They put gold inside fire, heat it. It will be burning it. It's only God that knows what that gold will be saying. But after that moment, it comes out shining. And people will want to pay millions, billions to buy it. All right? That heat doesn't remove the gold. It removes the impurity, the dirt, the unpreparedness, the unreadiness. All right? The procrastinations. All right, the indiscipline, the misbehavior, the unreadiness is being removed by that fire, and you come out pure, you come out refined. Stop asking why me. Sometimes, a lot of people like asking that question. Oh God, why me? Allah, why me? Why me? Stop asking that question. Start asking, what is this building in me? What is this situation trying to bring out in me? Why did this thing happen to me? God, what are you saying? What is it for? What is it for? Sit down and think. Some people don't even have thinking moments. There are times that you need to shut the door. You need to off your phone. Sit down and think. Strategize. Distraction. Kai, I don't know, but a lot of distraction in this our generation, a lot of distraction in this our days, especially this age of internet. Yeah, a lot of people are doing well with the internet, but then there are times that you need to sit down and just you and you alone, you and your heart, and what you have conceived in your heart, that is in your head, boiling, how it's going to get into your hand. Sometimes you sing and ponder over it. All right? Trust your resilience. You have survived 100% of your worst days in the past. So what is left? These are the things you should be asking yourself. All right? So I want us to know that this moment will not defeat you. It will develop you. And it's all a matter of choice. You need to decide it. You need to want it. You need to live it. You need to behave it. It needs to be in your head after conceiving it in your heart so that it can enter your hands. Thank you very much. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Recondition your heart, and your thinking cap should be on all the time. I'm Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. Welcome back, and of course it's still Global Morning on Global Television, and hope you were well inspired with Heart to Heart with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. And at about this point is a newspaper review segment, and we'll start with the first paper of the day, and it's the Vanguard. And above the nameplate it says losses to fraud in bank decline, CBN intensifies measures, and that's on page 19. And of course that's a relief when it comes to that particular aspect of the banking sector and of course individuals in our society. Now it says court sacks Abure, orders INEC to recognize Nenadi-led LP, and that's on page 9. FG to scrap HND, dichotomy, empower polytechnics to award degrees, and that's on page 9. And on page 8, Davido's dad breaks silence amid son's paternity saga. And it says, I have 14 grandchildren, and that's on page 8. Now, below the nameplate of the Vanguard, it says Kaduna abductions and rescue victims now. ACF can, Sakopu, Ekwa, others tell FG. And of course we have 6 riders there, and it says, Can President faults police statement, demands safe rescue of worshippers. Then the next rider says, Governor Sani, proactive despite conflicting reports. Now Sakapu, it's an act of violence, release abductees, PFN, ADA demands apology over police, LG chairman's cover-up, okay? MBF, impersonates police, will ensure safe return of abducted persons, and that's from Governor Ubasani. And on page 10 it says why we suspended Awojale selection process, and that's Ogun government. And on page 10 it says AU Afrima hails Sanwo-Olu over 9th edition. And below that it says
5 soldiers killed, many injured in Borno, Boko Haram suicide attack. And that's on page 6 on the Vanguard. Very sad read there. And on page 20, it says financial inclusion, Nigeria still behind target. And that's from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And on page 12, it says oil thieves operating more sophisticated networks. And that's from NAF Component Commander. And bandits always renege on peace deals. And that's Atiku. And that's on page 5. And go out and get yourself a copy of the Vanguard paper to be well abreast with the news making rounds. Next, we have The Nation. Over to you, Uyi.
All right, thank you. Let's begin with the headline above the nameplate. Says foreign lenders sue FBN trustees. That's First Bank of Nigeria trustees. Sulu Gambari over alleged illegal creation of security in a Conde Nestor case. Immediately beneath the name masts, top right, with a picture of former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. It reads, Obasanjo government inflated Mambila project cost by 11 billion naira, says witness. Those details are on page 2. 25.85 billion naira lost to bank fraud last year. NIBSS figure dropped by 51%. All right. The Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, has those details for you on page 2 with all the statistics to guide you with insights. Full operations ongoing to rescue Kajuru 177, says Sani. FCCPC, that's the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council, goes after violators of digital lending rules. Okay, you know these apps where people borrow money and all of that. It's becoming more popular than ever. But again, it has also now posed a lot of regulatory challenges for government. So what we have always seen is the authorities, especially the Consumer Protection Council, coming out to say, look, you must be registered, you must be regulated, there are rules of engagement. But again, perhaps we have more of these apps across Android and iOS devices that are not even regulated, and they harass people all over the place. I mean, I've received some random calls, and somebody calls and says, you signed surety for so-and-so person. The person has not paid. It's been 11 months. But I'm like, hold on a second. Who on earth is this person?
Yeah, but I've had this random call. So I was like, are you kidding me right now? What are you saying? And it's app. They have your name and number.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I wonder, did these individuals, do they put up your name as...
of course they did, obviously.
But why would you even do that? And then they refuse to pay, and then they call you.
And they call you up to
I'm going to embarrass the person.
Meanwhile, the person borrowed the money, for example, somewhere in Ado-Ekiti, and here you are in Abuja receiving calls.
Exactly. It's just unfortunate, but I think regulation should be made around that. It's a menace. It's going to become a menace in our society. Just like I'm happy that I got the news that POS, point of sale, now you can only use it. You can only
within
make
within
a particular state, and this will actually nip in the bud when it comes to these individuals who kidnap victims and say, bring out your ATM and you have the effrontery to travel outside Nigeria and then use your ATM card. At least we're trying as much as possible to curb this menace of insecurity, but we need to do more
and be at least several steps ahead of the criminals.
Exactly, very important. But so far, we're
not doing badly.
We're not doing badly, but we can do more.
Right, we should do more. All right, let's take a look at the star headline for you, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Our strategies for Tinubu's victory in 2027 by Iwada, that's the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Two riders with that headline. A party chair, young people now own ruling party. It says e-registration targets 10 million members. Hussaini's UK house, Ozekome's arraignment fixed for Monday. The two riders tell us charge amended to 8 counts. NIS provides more forgery evidence. Right? Court orders INEC to recognize Nanandi Usman-led caretaker as LP national. executive. That's on page 3. We wait to see what the Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party will do in this regard, because this case has gone all the way from the Court of First Instance to appeal to Supreme, and now is back again to the High Court. So we see what happens, but apparently we know one thing for a fact: the Labour Party is not in a good place, politically speaking, at this point in time. All right, please read up these headlines and their details on the Nation newspaper today as we move up to the Punch.
All right, the Punch newspaper giving us some very punchy headlines here. And it says on page 2, it says, kidnappers hold 166 Kaduna worshippers, demand 29 million naira deposit. And that's on page 2. And on page 7 on the Punch says, OT's LP bloc seeks reconciliation as court sacks Abure. And on page 20 it says, Awajale stool battle, Ogun halts process, police storm palace. And beside the nameplate of the Punch on page 3 it says, Royal Rumble, inside power struggle, rocking Oyo Oba's cancel. And still on the Punch, the Star story says, counter-terrorism campaign, FG moves to fast-track trial of 5,000 insurgents. And the writer underneath says, military, police, NSCDC budget 204 billion naira for operations in 2026. It says here, security agencies to harvest DNA notorious terror kingpins. And still on the Punch newspaper here, it says, court issues bench warrant against Tarji Bello linked suspects. And below that, very sad read there, it says, death toll hits 29 in Pakistan, more fire, dozens missing. And below the Punch newspaper on page 20, it says, ICPC to arraign Ozohame Monday over UK property. And on page 20, DNA tests cleared Davido in paternity disputes, father. And on page 20, AU Afrima hails Sanwo-Olu sponsors after awards. And basically, that's all the major headlines on the Punch newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy. I'm well abreast with issues making round. Next, we have the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, to the Tribune now, top right, left corner. Paternity disputes, how I got to know about my son's alleged daughter. Davido's father says several DNA tests returned negative. They might have to do a video of this, more like a press conference, all right? And he accused a certain Kemi Ololoyo, the very popular
investigative
journalist. Daughter of former governor of Oyo State, of being the one behind all of this. Hopefully this lays this matter to rest. Yes, once and for all. All right. What's more, Awujale's Chul, Ogun government halts selection process. Why we summoned nominees, that's the Department of State. We are working diligently to select best candidates, kingmakers. Excuse me. And then the star headline here says, with a kicker, abduction of 177 worshippers. Kaduna governor pledges rescue of victims. Atiku Obi knock government. Again, it has two riders. Can affected community upbraid police, local government boss. Untold story of Korumi Wali kidnapped. Those very disturbing details are on pages 4, 12, and 13. No arms, ammunition found in my residence. Malami denies terror financing allegation. EU allocates 557 million pounds to Nigeria, others in 2026 humanitarian budgets on page 2. And then a bit of health. Sleeping less than 7 hours daily quietly shortens life. That's according to a study. Court orders INEC to recognize Nenaji-led ESCO of Labour Party, sacks Abure as party chairman. The faction says, the writer here says, Abure faction has to appeal court. That's on page 4, as expected. All right, so let's the drama continue. Troops discover terrorist mass grave in Borno. Only God can tell how many people had been buried there. Well, so sad. AU Afrima hails Sanwo-Olu, Lagos, sponsors after ninth edition on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune. As always, we encourage you to read up details of these headlines for yourself as we move to the Guardian newspaper.
All right, now the Guardian newspaper, below the nameplate of the Guardian newspaper on page 3, says, Atiku, PDP faults FG police over kidnap of 163 worshippers in Kaduna. And on page 3 again, it says, U.S. plans options to protect Christians in Nigeria soon. And on page 2, it says, FCCPC moves against unregistered loan apps, revokes conditional approvals. And the star story on The Guardian reads, LP leadership verdict alters opposition politics ahead of 2027. And that read you will find on page 6. On page 4, it says, FG affirms plan to abolish HND, empower polytechnics to award degrees, okay? And here it says, Awojale Ogun suspends selection process over petitions, and that's on page 5. Now, below all of that, it says, CAN demands rescue of Kaduna worshippers as police confirm abduction. Finally, we'll say, and that's on page 29. And on page 6 on The Guardian, it says, WEF. Trump swaps consensus for hard power rhetorics as FG showcases reforms. And on page 6 on The Guardian, it reads, Nigeria account for 63% of West Africa diesel import from India. And it says, AU Afrima hails Sanwo-Olu sponsors for successful 9th edition. And that's on page 2. And that's all the major headlines making rounds on The Guardian newspaper. Next, the Daily Independent.
All right, so again, we begin with the headlines above the name mast. Top right first, Lausa hangs on scrapping HND for polytechnics to award degrees. That's a story, headline replicated across dailies today. ADC condemns planned release of 70 bandits from prison. All right, Kaduna Church abduction, Obi, Atiku, CAN, PDP query denials, urge urgent action. Riders say, berate police, local government chair say it is shameful to be obscure truth. Want federal government to be proactive over bandits attacks, citizens' safety. Labour Party crisis. Court orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman-led EXCO sacks Abure. Again, the same Abure, we understand, is heading to the Supreme Court, but you can read up these details on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Awujale's tool, Ogun government holds selection process again. DSS weighs in. Nigeria's 2026 aviation budget sparks duplication debate. Well, that's a big story on the Daily Independent today. And then on the right corner of the front page, EFCC returns 1.28 billion naira recovered from Sujimoto to Enugu government. That case has been long drawn out. The man came out on video, cried on social media, but for Enugu government, agreement is what? Agreement. Malami accuses DSS of denying him access to family legal team on page 6. A one-party system can't work in Nigeria, says Professor Gambari. Yes, the former Secretary to Government of the Federation said that in the course of an interview 2 days ago. All right, those are your headlines. Read up details from the Daily Independent today. Daily Trust is our next port of call.
All right, the Daily Trust newspaper now. Below all of that on page 12, below the nameplate, it says 2027, no appointments for non-APC members, and that's from Nintewe. And of course, on page 26, it says NATCON board members petition Tinubu demand chairman's removal. And the Star Story says Kaduna abduction, the denial, that failed. Okay. And on page 6, on The Daily Trust, it says, suicide bomber kills 5 soldiers in Borno. Unfortunate incident there. And on page 13 says, LP crisis, court orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman leadership. And on page 30 it reads, fire guts 34 classrooms in Kano school. Unfortunate, hope no lives were lost. And on page 7 it says, Media Trust Group launches digital newsroom. And those are all the major headlines on the Daily Trust. Next is the blueprint.
Incidentally, we'll look at the blueprint as our last paper this morning. It says here above the nameplate, thugs attack 7 Kano quarters, sets cause of local bakeries ablaze. Jim, I thought we're finding it already very difficult to recover from these multiple deaths. I mean, the murder of a woman and her 6 children. But now again, this is coming from Kano. It says 7 Kano quarters attacked, sets cause of, local bakeries. These are people's businesses.
Exactly.
Livelihoods are tied to these bakeries.
Yes, they are.
Well, all right. EFCC returns 1.2 billion naira recovered from Sujimoto to Enugu state government. Communities held Dangote Cement or Bajana rights on CDA CSR projects. The big one, Ubasani, Kaduna State Government security agencies will ensure safe return of 166 Kajuru abductees. 2 riders, CAN cancels on crisis communication, demands rescue of hostages. A list of kidnapped persons released. Labour Party crisis, court sacks Aburi, orders INEC to recognize Nenadi-led ESCO. 2027, Yilwada Goronyo ministers strategize for Tinubu's re-election. Northwest will deliver highest votes, says minister. At the foot of it, insurance sector hits record 4.62 trillion naira assets as recapitalization nears deadline. Well, those are all we have for you from the Blueprint newspaper this morning. Be sure to read up details. That's the only way you get value from the newspapers. All right. Remember as well that all of the headlines we bring to you are exactly as published by their respective publishers. Global Television or the crew here on Global Morning does not in any way contribute to them. Let's take a break. Shortly we'll we'll bring you Social Bars. Do stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
As we head into Thursday, here's what you need to know. The dust episode will continue, though at a slight intensity, affecting parts of Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, Plateau, Nasarawa, and parts of the northwest. Let's talk about the rainfall. During the morning hours, we expect thunderstorms to affect parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and parts of Bayelsa State. While later in the day, especially by late afternoon, we will see a wider spread of thunderstorms extending to southern Ondo, Ogun, Lagos, Bayelsa, Cross River, and River State. And that's the weather outlook. Airline operators are advised to regularly consult the NIMET eFlight folder portal for latest weather updates to support safe and well-planned flight operations.
Is on the rise. In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has left the pages of manifestos to become real actions and achievements. Transformations that piece by piece feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace to thrive. And in Imo, we are not leaving it to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are always watching, protecting dreams and opportunities. If you go to the quiet shore of Orashi Power, you will see the awakening of a hydropower roaring to electrify and energize a blossoming economy. The change is visible. The heartland of the East is under construction as new roads are threading together once forgotten places. Industry is humming again and communities are alive. At the center of it all, a digital revolution is rising. A new ministry with a new mission. Not just cables and codes, but capacity. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build a digital future. And as Orashi Power goes up, so does Imo, lifting with it the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Good morning, Global Morning crew, and we're about to get the social buzzing, where we've seen the criminal division of Abia State as they arrested a man allegedly named Chukwemeka Nwobilo, who has been arrested for allegedly registering voters illegally in Mbise North. And this is what those that caught him and then the police officers had to say, and this was his own confession. Just take a very quick look at this clip.
Mayor Kembiko. 50,000. Stop that. Election 2027. Thank God for the policemen we have here in Shalamba. Thank God for DPO, officer, all of them. This is what you are calling Mayor Biko. Not Mayor Biko. The fact is that I can't even shift on what people make him to do this kind of thing. Biko, sir. Biko. You know? Biko, use your good office. Biko, sir. No? See, wait. Let me just tell you. You see, this kind of thing, I know, sir. Because you are the one that I'm guilty. Is the in charge of operations in the south. Is the man in charge of operations in the south. Then you take the share number. So is this thing is given to him?
So devastated to see he was sent to a different location, and then he went to a different location to register all the people that he is not meant to register. So the police will still do a lot of investigations and to uncover maybe if there are more persons, perpetrating acts like this. But quickly, let's look at the comments from social media handlers where they have reacted differently. We would just like to see the comments quickly. If Nigeria becomes great, it's coming from Big K. He says, if Nigeria becomes great, will our elites die? That's a very fascinating question there. And the other tweets coming from Uche Boz. Anyone trying to rig election in Abia State should write their will. This one is coming with his own level of violence. And then the next comment says, Real Nwa Pikin. She says, hold him. They are already setting their rigging maps. And this is the process, and this is how all of this gets to start. And we are hoping that the bodies in charge would be able to swiftly react to it and make sure they apprehend all these individuals in charge or in line with all of these bad behaviors. Let me just get the take of Jumaima on what she thinks should be done, who is someone that actually has a little bit of background within the Nigerian police force.
Really, I do. How are you? How are you doing, Samalodi? Yes. Well, when I saw this clip, I was marveled that this is just January. 2027 is just next year. We're not done with February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And someone is already trying to rig elections. But thank God he was caught. And thank God the needful will be done. It's just unfortunate that where did he get access to all of these things? Fabricating them and all of it's just unfortunate, really. But thank God the needful will be done. He's caught, and now he's begging and saying they should have mercy. Now, what do you do with that kind of issue now? But it's just unfortunate that this is what it is. People are already planning ahead to rig elections. It's just unfortunate, but it's not business as usual, Odi. Now people are now being sensitized. People are now being aware, and people are now taking this very seriously. We're not here to joke. Really, we're not here to joke.
Actually, it's not going to be business as usual, because this person, I'm not certain this is the first time he's doing it, because he says a friend called him. Really? For those of us that don't understand the language Igbo that was being spoken in the background, he said his friend called him to come help register in an entire different location where he was not his primary assignment. And then obviously some illegal stuff were going on before they got the police involved, and then he is being persecuted. Though a lot of investigations will be happening, and like the comment says, if Nigeria gets better, will our elites die? That's a very fascinating question, because we really need to do better from our own locality, just like we saw those in Abia State, making sure that they involved the authorities to handle everything. And more tweets and more comments, we saw some persons here alleging that yes, the man will be free like a bird and he will be released. But from what we've been seeing so far in the Nigerian system, a lot of persons are beginning to pay for their crimes. We don't want to even get into the Malami conversation. So we just hope to see that justice will be served and we would have a free and fair election. Jumai, you have any other thing to say?
No, I'm just glad that this particular perpetrator has been caught, and I'm sure this will serve as a redress, or will I say remedy, for individuals who are trying as much as possible to rig elections. It's not business as usual, and they will be caught, because Nigerians are becoming aware there's no light in that particular tunnel. It's just better we do the needful so that we can get the best hands, best leaders to rule. And of course, when the good people rule, everyone is happy, basically.
Yes. At the end of the day, when good people rule, everyone is happy, and that's it from the decks on social boards. And we'll hand it over to the Global Morning crew as they do their thing. Bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
We understand that a lot has happened the last couple of days, even within the course of this week, in the world of business. For example, banks have now recorded a significant drop in bank-related fraud, the first time since 2021, all thanks to BVN and NIN. Aren't we all happy that BVN and NIN are now paying off in ways that are measurable? But again, there's much more than that, including what has happened yesterday at the stock markets. Here is a summary for you. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Just yesterday on the show here, we took our time to look at, this gold refinery that is proposed for Lagos State. And one of the issues our guest raised was that since the federal government has now told Nigerians that it is a privately funded initiative, it therefore means the investors themselves have the latitude to determine where they would want this facility to be sited, especially in the face of insecurity that is more rife up north. However, the Northern Elders Forum have a different thinking altogether, for the most part based on Nigeria's 1999 constitution as amended. For example, they cite section 16, subsection 1b of the same constitution, the Grandam as lawyers call it, where it says, quotes, furthermore, section 16, subsection 1b obliges the state to control the national economy in such a manner as to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every citizen on the basis of social justice and equality of status and opportunity. Now, the question is, has that been the case in this instant situation that we're looking at this morning? We're joined by Idris Waziri, who is a lawyer and executive director of the Fiscal and Civic Rights Enlightenment Foundation, to help us look at what exactly the position of Nigerian laws is on this matter, and where, for example, the government has gotten off on the wrong foot right now. Idris would like to say a big thank you to you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So allow Juma and I to grill you, so to speak, for the next couple of minutes. But let's start off with the position of the Northern Elders Forum, which many persons will tell you it is the position of the North. Their position essentially is hinged on the Constitution. Are we going to say, if that is the case, the federal government has been, if you like, oblivious of these constitutional provisions?
All right, so thank you once again. So let us start with what the law says. The section that they cited is correct, and if you recall, the thrust of my privatization case is actually hinged on section 16 itself, which is the government's economic policies directives. Right. So these are mandates that the government of the day is mandated to follow by sections 13 and sections 224 affecting political parties. Right. So what does it say? Exactly what you think, and I think the right word was harness, not control. So harness, when you're harnessing, when you're extracting, when you're extracting, there should be that equity of distribution. Now, the government's position is that this refinery is a private initiative. All fine and good, that's all right, right? The Northern Elders Forum's position, this is where I fault their position. They are right in terms of the law. They are wrong in terms of who they are pointing their fingers at, okay? It's not, if I'm going to invest my money in my own private refinery, assuming it is a private refinery, right?
Without conceding.
Yeah, let's assume it is true, nobody in government has a hand in this refinery. Right. It is somebody who has just invested his money, right? You can't force me to go and put it in Yobe now. You understand? You can't force me to go and put it in Niger State, right? It is on the government of the day, federal government now, to make policies that make sure that that section 16(1)(b) that you quoted, right, is actually followed. If as a private investor there is no government incentive or enforcement to make sure that value addition takes place where the minerals are extracted, why would I go? That's on the private sector end. The governors now of those northern states, what are you doing? Why have you not set up a refinery in your
this entire time?
Yes. Let's take Niger State, for example, right? So today I'm not here as a politician. I am here as a mining executive, one of the most experienced mining executives, if not the most experienced, right? And I'm here to, as a stakeholder, to say, look, Northern Elders Forum, you're right on the law, you're wrong in who you're pointing the blame at, right? So if we're going to get this thing right, we need national policies that enforce that when you extract minerals from a locale, oil
right.
from the south, make sure that the processing, the refinery or whatever is there. Do you understand? If you want to make the argument of putting a refinery in Kaduna, make the argument for distribution and all those kinds of things, not siphoning oil from the south and then going to develop somewhere else from it. So if you take gold from Niger State, for example, I primarily work out of Borgu local government, right? So if you're taking gold from Borgu to take it to go and process it or refine it in Lagos, what have you done? You've taken jobs away from Borgu. Meanwhile, the insecurity, the environmental damage is being done in Niger State, right? So they are not benefiting anything because, again, as a private individual, there is nothing by law that stops me from taking that thing and going to Lagos.
Right.
I want to ask, do you think Nigeria is ready to actually tackle the challenges associated with mineral resources? Do you think we're ready for that we're ready to look at it, and do you think we're ready basically?
We are long overdue. The British, I keep saying it, the British came and put down railways here to extract our resources, okay? We have done nothing with that. All we did was we discovered oil and gas, and we just had tunnel vision for oil and gas ever since. Whereas, I keep telling people, I have an exploration license, right? When I sit down with investors, high net worth individuals, I've had people say, this is just a piece of paper. Yes, it is just a piece of paper now.
Right.
But this same oil block they are spending $80 million to try and secure, right? You're spending that money because exploration was done on that block to determine what the commercial viability of it was.
Right.
And that is why you are now killing yourself to get that location, right? This same license that I'm holding, that many other people have in Nigeria, it requires that same level of risk capital. Now that's the problem in Nigeria, right? Everybody assumes it's government's work to do this exploration. It's not. It is for private individuals, but it is not from me meeting a Dangote and saying, Dangote, come and fund exploration on my license. No, it is too much for one individual, no matter how rich that individual is. You do it the same way other mining countries have done. Let's take Australia, for example. You list a junior mining company, like my own, for example, right? I have, so can I tell you about some? So there's an Australian guy who lives in this country, right? He's married to a Nigerian, so he didn't come to Nigeria looking for mining opportunities. He came here because his father-in-law had health issues. But while here, because he has been in mining finance for 30 years, he saw the gap. So he's like, when we met, he was like, the reason why ED you spent 11 years trying to raise money unsuccessfully is that you're trying to do it the wrong way. This is how we've done it in in Australia. This is how it's done in Canada and South. Every mining country, this is how you do it. You list junior mining companies on the stock exchange, and you now start to announce the reports, the exploration reports, right? So in Nigeria here, if I go and meet a T.Y. Anjuma, for example, and I say, give me $5 million for exploration, it's either we hit or we miss. And if we miss, his $5 million is gone. Right? However, if you go to the stock exchange and you list that mining company, so I go there with, let's say, a suite of 6 to 10 licenses, and you list me on the stock exchange, those exploration reports that I start to do, and I'm talking about early exploration, the minute they, in the advanced country, when they see those reports, they know what those reports mean. So you list the company at, let's say, $1, right? When the first few reports come in, and I'm still talking about early exploration, the share price starts to go up slightly. You that invested the first $5 million that we did the IPO with, right? Your money has already come back.
Right.
You understand? And it's now a question of how long you leave your money in, or do you remove the principal and leave the jara on top and you move. But what has happened, me and my junior mining company, we have advanced. We now become like Segun Lawson in Osun State, who has now done it exactly what I've described, but he did it with the Canadian Stock Exchange, the TSX. So it's not rocket science.
Perhaps he tried it successfully back at home, it didn't work.
Obviously. In fact, the license that he actually used was a license that has been passed over from one entity to another, and each entity will come and do some work. So Segun kind of came in at the right time, where he got the necessary reports and the data that he now went to the stock exchange and listed and raised the money to now come back and do further exploration that now allowed him to now unlock $100 million to now set up the kind of world-class operation that he's doing right now. So my question to high net worth individuals in Nigeria is this: if Segun Lawson Thor exploration is proof of concept, why am I still struggling to convince you people to come together and form little groups. So, okay, this group of Jim Ovia, Tony Elemulu, and Dangote put together $5 million for Mineral Quest. This other group put together $5 million for Peacock, for example, and let this Australian guy who is licensed to go and list companies on the stock exchange, go and list us there. When I release my reports, you in Nigeria here don't know it, don't understand it, but they over there do. Right. And I'm making you money from exploration phase. You understand?
From what you're saying, Idris, I know Juma is loaded with questions for you, but from the way you're sounding, it appears we are still scratching the surface. But I'm wondering, you just mentioned a few HNIs now, I mean, the Dangotes, the Ovias, and all of that. Is it like they're not seeing the promise in these, or they're also concerned about the volatility of the space?
I am not, honestly, I can't explain. Like I said, I've been at this now for a total of about 14 years, right?
And that's a long time.
Yeah, so if there's anything I've spent time on, it is mining, okay? So my question, I don't understand why there is a lack of appetite for this thing. Yes, okay, I have the answer actually, sorry.
Okay.
Our Nigerian investors do not understand mid to long-term investments. They only understand short-term. And best short-term is oil. Right. Go and get an oil block and you are in private jets and the rest of them, and that's it. Either that or get government contracts. So outside of that in Nigeria, unless you come from the southeast or the southwest of Nigeria who understand business or industrialization and all of that, nothing works. And nothing is going to work.
Oh, all right. Okay, you have a question.
No, basically, do you think in Nigeria we do not understand this mining process and how it's going to help develop our nation as a whole? That we've not gotten to that part yet where we truly understand it as Nigerians?
Well, as Nigerians, we can't say we don't understand it. Don't we have people who work in Chevrons and Shells?
We do.
We do.
Some of the finest.
And higher executives, right? So it's the same principle. It's still geology. We're just looking at this different mineral here. Do you understand? So the same way you go and do your drilling to confirm whether this new block that you discovered, like now for the oil blocks that they're saying that the oil that we have in the north, what is about to happen? You're supposed to go and do exploration to confirm the reserves.
Right.
Same thing. So why are we doing it with our mineral sector? Like I keep saying, when Buhari came in 2015, the first thing he announced was diversification of our economy into both mining and agriculture. Again, I do both because for me, what I found is during the rainy season, mining activities stop because all the mining pits are filled with water, right? So if you continue to mine, either people are drowning or the things are collapsing, right? So the miners themselves, who are mostly artisanal, switch to farming. Right, so I figured that if you're going to have an all-year-round operation, you have to integrate both mining and agriculture. Right now, I'm saying these things because for me, I learned something from John, the Australian guy I was telling you about. These are what I would call intellectual property, things that I've learned over 14 years. I don't have a problem saying it out for the whole world because I want Nigeria to develop. You understand? The reason why I'm coming today as a mining executive and not a politician is the other day I came for an interview with your colleague.
Right.
And I was speaking to someone who I respect dearly, and he said, Idi, what are you? As in, he didn't actually ask me that. He told me a story about someone who was asked, what is he? And he said he's in opposition. They said, well, opposition of what? He's like, no, I'm just opposition. So it got me thinking. And I was like, okay, what am I? Do you understand? So let me define who I am. I am somebody who is deeply concerned about where we are as a country. And I feel I can offer help in terms of think tanking, whatever it is that moves us forward as a nation. I have proposed a manifesto for a United Tribes of Nigeria. Let us rebrand ourselves as a nation. Like I said, you mentioned Section 16. Section 16 talks about our economic policies. Section 17, I think, talks about our social objectives, right? So social objectives are things like free housing, free education, free healthcare. These things are possible, right, if we follow that section that you quoted earlier, that equitable distribution, right? We would have no Boko Haram in the northeast if we are processing our minerals there. For example, in my state, we have potassium, we have gypsum. There's not oil, it's not gold, but these are things that would interest a pharmaceutical company. So why isn't my governor, these people that are forming this Northern Forum, whatever, why isn't my governor, why haven't you thought about setting up a deal with Pfizer or some big pharmaceutical conglomerate, right? Or even our Igbo brothers who have a knack for these kinds of things. Right. Come, see the raw material for these medicines. Let us set up some kind of factory over there. But no, you want to come and start shouting that it is, why go and take it to Lagos? It's not Lagos' problem that you were sleeping and they woke up to something that you were lying on top of all this time. No.
You have mentioned governors now twice in the course of this conversation. It doesn't mean these governors are lagging, because I realize when we had the issues around the proposed tax bills, as they were now laws, the governors were very vehement and very clear as to their position, all 19 of them. At the point, they even had to, quote unquote, drag the president into a meeting where the governor of Nasarawa State came out and told pressmen that the issues had been resolved, that both the governors and the federal government were now on the same page regarding the tax issues and all of that. Why are we not seeing the same energy when it comes to minerals? I mean, the North, to put it very mildly, is abundantly blessed with these minerals. But then it appears to be more of a problem than it should be a blessing. For example, Dede Alake, Minister of Solid Minerals Development, has told this country that there are powerful Nigerians behind illegal mining. Of course, we don't have those names. Are we sleeping on it, or we just don't want to rock the boat?
Well, first and foremost, if you're mining, you know those names, right? So that conspiracy theory is real, all right? But again, my question is this: why? Let's open it up now. Do you understand? Why? Okay, if you have the resources to actually do this thing you're doing, why don't you bring it in? Let me give you an example. You know this refinery yogurt?
Right.
You see it everywhere. It sprung up out of the blue, right? But if you look at the penetration that they've had, right? My first thinking was, this is money laundering, right? But my second thought immediately after that was, even if it is money laundering, I prefer this kind of money laundering to the one that we're going to pack the money in somewhere in Europe, and he's not using it, we are not benefiting from it. So refinery yogurt now, I'm not saying there's money laundering, by the way, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if for a company to come up and penetrate in terms of distribution the way they have, what have they done? They've created enough employment. Do you understand? I've seen that branch in places you would never think about seeing them. So, and somebody's being employed to stay there, Abby. I'm all right with that kind of, if at all, I'm all right with that. So what we need is, we need to integrate everything. We need to put people with, for the president, you're going into what is supposed to be your second term. What should be your final hurrah as far as politics, right? So you owe nobody any favors anymore. All right, granted, you spent your first term and you put political people in positions. So let's talk about the Minister of Solid Minerals, for example, right? And every single minister before him, they have been political appointments. They have not been people who are fit for the job at hand. All right, you have no ideas on how to actually develop this sector. You right now, based on what I just said, I'm not saying what I've told you now is the end all and be all solution for Nigeria, but believe me, if it is implemented as a federal policy, i.e. every Nigerian that is holding a license that has been issued by mining cadastral office, go and I know people that have 100 licenses. If it wasn't for this minister that increased the annual service fees that we pay to government every year, right? People are holding on to 100 licenses. And then
what are they doing with that bunch of licenses?
Sorry?
What are they doing with that stack of licenses?
That's the thing. So you see, this increase that he's done, while exorbitant, I used to pay about 2 million for our licenses. It shot up to about 14 million in one sitting.
Is that per annum?
Yeah, per annum, right? It was a huge bump, but what it's going to do is sanitize the industry. It's going to get rid of the jokers that are holding on to these licenses and not doing anything with them. Now, those of us that are serious, and those of us that see sense in what someone like John is saying, I'm not saying it must be John. And what John is even saying is that I did not invent the wheel on this. This is what everybody else is doing. Right? So again, don't use his company or use his company. That's entirely up to you. In fact, better yet, form a group. If you can give me Fatih Shinkafi, that's the head of SMDF, Solid Mineral Development Fund. If you can give me the head of the NGSA, the DG of the NGSA. If you can give me the Minister of Solid Minerals, right? If you can give me the head of NGX, the DG of SEC, let us sit down. Let us talk about changing our own stock exchange laws to allow junior mining companies that don't have a tax history, that all they are having is these licenses, right? To be able to say, let us list them on the stock exchange. Let us allow people to now spread the risk amongst all Nigerians. Let you be able to put in your 10 naira, you put your 100 naira, let them go to put his 1
So we all own it.
We all own it, do you understand? So me now, the owner of Mineral Quest Exploration and Mining Company, I have my 6 to 10 licenses. You now are my investors, do you understand? We have now raised our $5 million. Oh yeah, we go to ASX. Oh yeah, we have listed. The minute, like I said, we start giving reports in, you may not understand the reports. NGX may not understand the reports. SEC may not understand the reports, but the ASX does. Do you understand? And like I said, by the time so there's 7 stages in the mining cycle: license acquisition, early exploration, advanced exploration, feasibility report, raising the financing, the mining, and all of that, right? So between the stage 2, early exploration, advanced exploration, stage 3, feasibility report, stage, so your feasibility report, resource estimation and feasibility report, that's stage 4, right? Those 3 stages, that's where you, those HNIs, or you that put in your little 100 naira will make your money. Do you understand? Because like I said, the share price is going. So what you started with a listing of, let's say, $1 ends up being valued at $10. Do you understand? And every time there's a spike in those reports, let's say, for example, there's a huge lithium discovery, and most of our minerals are very high grade minerals. And again, they're shallow. Unlike in the West or the rest of the world, where they have already mined, they're now having to go very deep, very expensive to mine their thing. Our own is shallow and it is very rich. Do you understand? So let's say there's now, as you're doing your exploration, there's now a huge discovery and it's high grade. You see that your share price is going to now jump. Right? That's when you now turn to, you became a Dangote overnight. So those are the opportunities that are there. But like I said, when you put the wrong people, political people, in appointed places, where that is the engine room, or where you're saying you want to turn our economy around, then I look at you and say you're not really serious. So when you ask, is it that we don't understand it?
Exactly.
No, we don't understand it, and we're not serious about it. That's the bottom line.
So that's one of the major challenges when it has to do with the mining
right
sector.
at the top of the list.
All right, let's begin to wrap up now. Let's talk about private sector participation. Politicians will always think as politicians, and that's, in this sense, includes the governors themselves. But what more work can we do to ensure that we drag in as much private sector participation as possible? Because obviously this is flying over the head of politicians across these states where you have these mineral deposits.
Well, it's not flying across the head like we talked about it earlier. There's illegal operations going on both on artisanal level and on kingpin levels.
Right.
Do you understand? So what we need to do, like I said, is about transparency. Do you understand?
Who needs to be transparent now?
Everybody. The government, one, right? The private practitioners. So like I said, everything kind of stems from government.
Right.
That's why. So there's federal government and then there's state government. Now all licenses in this sector are with the federal government. So state governors can technically have no say in the matter, technically. But you see, as a lawyer now, I'll now bring the Land Use Act for you. Hey, you see, this one is exposed now. But yeah, again, it's for the country, right? So now, if I'm a governor now, right, you say the first thing I need is consent. Okay, so I'm sorry. You know what? Consent is the first thing, right? So who owns all the land in a state? Governor, right? Land Use Act. So therefore, all consent technically falls with him, right? So if he wanted, he could say, okay, all licenses are now to me. But that now brings me back to my socialist inclination, right? So I've sat here now telling you that I'm a private sector person and I'm a stakeholder in this industry. But politically, I am advocating for a reversion. We should go away from this capitalist thing. Nobody should have a license individually. Me now, if I have my way, I'm returning my license.
So we should democratize
it. Do you understand? More importantly, let it belong to the people where those minerals are found. So if, for example, now in my own United Tribes of Nigeria model,
where will you impute regulations in all of this if everyone should have it?
Sorry, come again.
Where will you impute regulations,
It depends on what model you're following. So if we're following, let's say, the socialist model, right? So all things are owned by the states,
right?
As the constitution already mandates right now. That's why I said PDP and APC should not be parties in Nigeria, because they are violating section 16(1)(c), right? These resources belong to all of us, right? So the Niger Delta person now, let's say I'm in Northeast and I hold an oil block. Why isn't Tompolo saying, why shouldn't he be crying now? Do you understand? How can you be over there and you are the one reaping the benefits of why my people are here? Now, the question of why your governor has allowed oil spilling and all of that, all the environmental damage to carry on for all these years. Then, just like with the Northern Governments Forum, the same question now goes to your governor. Why is this going on? That is not the northern person's problem.
Exactly.
That is your governor and your people and your representatives and your senator. Everything that the environmental damage is right on your doorstep. It's nobody else's fault. The companies are giving money. It's not reaching where it's supposed to go. The government is giving you allocations for this. There are bodies that have been set up for this environmental thing. Where is all that money going to? Why are you abusing that northerner that has legitimately gotten his license from government? That is the policy of the day. If you want to change it, let's have the discussion about changing it. But you can't say that is allowed and then now start pointing fingers, like I said, wrong direction. All right. Incidentally, that's what we're going to leave this conversation this morning. But again, the federal government has responded saying that this is an entirely private initiative. We would like to say a big thank you to you, Barrister Idris Waziri, for coming on the program. Just for the records, Idris is also the Executive Director of Fiscal and Civic Rights Enlightenment Foundation. All right, let's take a break, everyone. Up next, we'll look at the state of the nation from the standpoint of 2027 politics. The Labour Party, again, is big in the news this time. Leadership has been taken off the hands of Barrister Julius Saburi-led faction and handed to the Nadi Usman-led wing of the party. What does this and more mean for Nigeria's politics? We'll find out after this short break. Please do stay with us. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, thank you everyone for staying with us. Let's get right into it. The state of Nigerian politics today, especially as it has to do with the rat race now, as some persons have called it. All right, but from the opposition end of things, it will appear that the dynamics have changed radically, whether you are looking at the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, or even the new bride, as it seems to be, the African Democratic Congress. What exactly is happening with the opposition as it stands today? Do we have an opposition that is virile, that is, you can say, well, a viable special purpose vehicle that can put up a strong, formidable fight against the APC, politically speaking, as it's leads to 2027 general election. This morning, we're joined by a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party who doubles as a political analyst, Chief Warmate Dabo Kiabo, to help us straighten out this conversation. We'd like to say a big thank you to you, Chief, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Good to see you again. All right, let's begin. First things first. As it stands today, we've seen the fight between Governor Seyi Makinde and, of course, I don't want to call him your former man, talking about Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT. Okay. But as I say, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. How much suffering is the PDP undergoing right now?
To be frank, the PDP is going through a lot of suffering, to be honest, because if you notice what happened with the Ekiti State governorship candidate of PDP, and what is happening with the FCT, we have that challenge as a result of this interest wrangling within the FCT minister and some other persons like Bala Mohammed and Seyi Makinde. So the party has suffered a lot. You saw how many of our governors, leaders, members decamped and left the party. It's as a result of this scrambling between these two groups, and the party has suffered a lot. And none of them can come up today and claim that they are not part of those that instigate the decline of PDP, the fortune of the decline of PDP as we speak today. Neither will Bala Mohammed or Seyi Makinde, because the picture they paint is the FCT minister, Wike. No. Either for, either some of these people have contributed by as a result of, APC support, some their own ambition, some also because of their interest, like Bala Mohammed ambition, Seyi Makinde ambition, and as it has been alleged, the FCT minister is being pushed by, is given the assignment by the APC to make sure that the PDP does not, get itself to after the 2027 election. So all these issues are bedeviling the party, and the members are suffering a lot as we speak today, because it has become a serious challenge. Today as we speak, it can be said we don't have, ESCOs. Because looking at the mainstream PDP, that is the Turaki PDP, the convention, as I said in a sister platform, that in the eyes of the law, the convention was not held. And reason being is that they got a court order from Oyo State. Meanwhile, there is 2 court judgments, federal high court judgment. They disobeyed and went for that. And also, INEC raised an issue following the constitution that the state high court does not have jurisdiction. And as a result of that, the judge that gave the order for the convention to be held excluded INEC on the list. What does that tell you? So, on that ground, it is very clear that the convention, in the eyes of the convention, in the eyes of the law, the convention was not held. But also, if you look at the Wike group, they cannot say to have constituted a proper caretaker committee at the national. Because, number one, the mainstream PDP suspended 3 members that went together and get some rally land and got some people and said they suspended the dead chairman.
Right.
No, there is no way. Our constitution is clear. Section 29 of our PDP constitution, subsection 3, is clear. Is 2/3 members of the NWC that can suspend. And the mainstream PDP, which was led by Ambassador Damagum, suspended. They were 13. Some people are saying 14. I disagree. They are 13 because following the judgment in Ebonyi State, Chief Ali Odefa is no longer a PDP member. But people like Sheyi Makinde, Bala Mohammed are still recognizing him and allowing him to preside as the national vice chairman, Southeast, which is wrong. So if you look at the both sides, they are all aberration. That you recognize somebody that a federal high court has declared that it's not just has not removed him from the office alone, but has declared him not a member of PDP to still remain an NWC member.
And that judgment was not appealed.
It was appealed. And he's attending all the meetings of the NWC. So what happens with the Anyanwu group is like a pushback. We will not accept what you are doing. So that is what is today the PDP is suffering.
Well, will the PDP survive this storm? Because when it started, some of your even high-ranking members said it was just a storm in a teacup. But today we have seen that this is a storm that is blowing away all the structures on the ground. Will the PDP ever survive this? Or are we now looking at the PDP that will, I mean, where you have individuals who will end up in the APC, ADC, and Labour Party at some point?
The truth means that nobody can destroy the PDP. Yes, we are having challenge. We've had challenge like this before. But in this case, then we're able to reorganize ourselves. In this case, we know that there is, just like you rightly said, 2 elephants are fighting. And the both sides are wrong. The Bala Mohammed group cannot claim to assume that they are right. The Anyanwu group, constitutionally, their tenure has expired, and they are not the main PDP to have constituted what is it called? Caretaker committee, national caretaker committee, and also setting up caretaker committees at the state level. And that's why I disagree with them. And also the Sheyi Makinde group, because you recognize somebody the court has removed. The convention did not go in line with. They follow the procedure, they notify INEC, good and fine. But a federal court has given judgment, 2 judgments, substituting judgment. You went and picked an order. Today you've seen that do you know that if the Sheyi Makinde group has gone to federal court, Ibadan, to request that INEC recognize the convention? The matter is still there. So if you look at it, what is affecting PDP is the strongman factor. This strongman wants destruction. This strongman wants destruction. That is what is bedeviling PDP. And we have been speaking against this strongman factor and said, no, let the party is the People's Democratic Party. Let the people own the party. But, you know, they are the one in charge of even the policy making. So to amend the party constitution to ensure that the members are the ones in charge is difficult. They only amend it to protect their interests. So that is the major challenge we are having in the PDP today. Like I'll tell you, for example, the national chairman, the deputy national chairman, South, rather, is from Bayelsa State. He was the national financial secretary, and it ought to be zoned to Rivers State. But because his governor at the time is the only, not the only governor, but was the chairman of the zoning committee.
Okay, at that time.
At that time, he gave it to his person. So as a Rivers person, my own state slot is given to Bayelsa person. I will not feel happy.
Right.
So there's a lot of irregularities that need to be corrected within the PDP. So the, what is it called? The Turaki group, which is the main PDP, I must clear that, should not be excited because there are a lot of things that needs to be corrected within their group. Then that of the Anyanwu group, I don't see it because it just, I see it as a pushback they cannot claim to be legitimate national, what is it called, a caretaker committee. Even though the court gives judgment today, because I've said in the eyes of the law, the convention does not exist.
Right.
But if those that took the party to court and secured that judgment at the Federal High Court did not conclude, follow the internal mechanism of conflict resolution, that means in the eyes of the law, the convention is valid. But if that is not done, then in the eyes of the law, the convention is invalid. So that is the situation we are today as it is. And that's why you see a lot of people that have ambition are scared to remain. They just port in other parties to see how they can use it as a special purpose vehicle to achieve their aim, which is to contest on one position or the other. So that is the challenge we're having today as a party.
But the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, has said that even when you defect to another party, it doesn't guarantee you a second term of re-election. Now, talking about the PDP now, do you think the FCT minister, as people say, is part of the problems or challenges of the PDP, even when he has come out to say he's a card-carrying member? Do you see him defecting in the upcoming election?
Well, I cannot, only him can answer if he's going to defect. But if he says...
But do you see the signs? Because he's so loyal to this present administration.
Yeah, if you say that he's going to defect, I think only him can tell if he's going to defect to APC or not. Because he claims that he's working for the president and not the party. That has been his statement. And for the other question that if he's... Yes, even the blind can see that he is part of the problem of PDP. There is no two ways about it. The FCT minister is part of himself knows that. So that one is clear. And that is one of the reasons why we are facing this challenge as we speak today.
So would you say it's vendetta? I mean, it's just a follow-up to Jumai's question. Is Mr. Wike on a vendetta mission? Like he has an axe to grind with some big wigs in the PDP, so it's more like a payback?
Yes, it looks like that. When you see some of the actions he takes and all the rest. That is the impression a lot of people have. That some have even alleged that it's as a result of the fact that he lost the primary to Atiku. Some have said he has not, come out of that bitterness that he lost to Atiku, and that's why he's acting like this. He wants to, make sure that PDP is gone. And some are saying that he wants to show that without him, PDP will not exist, which is very much impossible because we've had stronger people than himself. And I must say this clearly. You see, why some of these strong men succeed is because of the greed of other leaders. That is the major issue, because they cannot see dollar Benjamin and say no to it and follow the truth. So that is why we're in this issue. Most of PDP leaders had the challenge, because if you watch, the FCT minister will come up and accuse them, and if they are clean, they would have come on. Are you the first to fund the party? They would have come up to challenge him. People who established this party, they funded the party. But you notice that most of them must have committed themselves to him and without delivering. So that's why you see him come with all boldness, saying that no, this, and be accusing them, because our leaders, the greed in our leaders has made them not to be able to, has made them lose their voice. That is the thing. Otherwise, if I know that I'm clean and he's accusing me, I'll tell him, my friend, you can't do that. This party, before you train the party, people had meetings, people sponsor those meetings, people fought the party before you came on board. Not that we are downplaying your role, we appreciate it, but that should not give you the impetus to insult leaders, to want to destroy the party. No. But if you look at it, no caution. The lack of discipline at that point, because most of them, they can't say no, as somebody will say, they can't say no to his dollars. And some other people that are throwing dollars within the party, they can't say no. Today, they are the ones that have put us in this mess. Not even those that gave the money, not even the FCT minister, anybody that we had alleged that gave dollar. It's those leaders that accept the dollars, and as a result of that, their eyes are blind to the truth.
I want us to look at something else real quick. We saw the Turaki-led faction of your party pay a visit to former President Goodluck Jonathan the other day. It looks like the PDP, I mean from the Turaki side, is making efforts to say, look, let's do as much fixing as we can, at least before 2027. Does that make much of difference? Even though we know he said, yes, the former president spoke in favor of the PDP, the former president is still a member of the PDP. Some people even say the former president himself has a bit of bad energy towards your party because he says he had been betrayed by the PDP as far as the 2015 general election are concerned.
No, you know, yes, you must give it to the Turaki group that they are trying to make effort to, you know, bring the party together, going to see leaders and stuff like that. So you must give it to them. And that of the president, former president, Goodluck Jonathan, yes. And that's why he, as our former military president would say, that's why he stepped aside. He wasn't that active. In fact, it's like he froze his membership with the party because he wasn't attending NEC meeting, wasn't attending BOT meeting, all those meetings, caucus meetings, which is statutorily have the right to attend. He's not attending them and it's not there. So when you look at it, you will see that the president, the former president, is also aggrieved that the party betrayed him. And that's why he stepped aside. So right now, what they are doing is a good move to try to talk to him. Because, let's put it this way, our northern PDP members betrayed him so woefully, openly. You heard the statement of the former governors of the 19 northern states, Babangida Aliyu. All of them. And today, they are regretting. Some of them have, like Senator Dino Melansko, have had the opportunity to apologize to him in an event. So that one is there. And we believe that is why the former president was not active in any of our party activities. I remember even the immediate past NWC made several attempts to reach him, invite him to NEC meeting. He turned it down. So if today I didn't hear from him, is the present chairman, Honorable Turaki, SAN, that said he spoke favorably about the party. We hope so that truly he did for the party. That would be a sign of kind of him forgiving the party for the betrayal. He can, Jonathan has the right to say yes, he was betrayed. He's the only person that can say of the truth that PDP betrayed, no other person.
Now let's move away from the PDP now. Let's look at the rise of the ADC being a very strong contender when it comes to the ruling party of Nigeria and the Atiku and Peter Obi factor. What's your take on that?
Well, you see, the ADC, before Peter Obi joined, can be referred to as paper tiger. Press briefing, nothing more. They'll give press briefing.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Just attacking the, one or two press briefing, that does not make you be on ground. There is no party, even the APC acknowledge the fact that there is no party that has structure and infrastructure like PDP in all both the ruling party and the opposition party in this country. So they have that fear, and that's why you see some people are accusing the FCT minister that they are using him to make sure that PDP does not get itself. Because if PDP gets itself, it will be a big fight for them. Now for the ADC, that is it. But when Peter Obi came into the party, he gave it, just like what happened when he joined the Labour Party. He gave it that, strength, that with his obedient movement, gave it that face and make people begin to see the party as a party that maybe, it seems PDP is having some challenge, maybe can be reckoned with. But they are still watching. In fact, some people yesterday are saying if the ADC does not do the needful, Obi has the opportunity to go back to Labour Party and express his interest, that kind of a thing. Because you see, let's be frank, Atiku should respect the zoning principle. Though not written in our constitution, after all, countries have unwritten constitution. UK operates on written constitution. You mustn't write everything. That is what makes people gentlemen. In those days, when you discuss, you shake hand. That is an agreement, and you respect it. You stand by your word. So the former vice president should respect the unwritten constitution, let me put it that way, of our country, which has, given us the opportunity to have a peaceful political environment, that the North 8 years, the South 8 years, you want to, he told somebody, a senior citizen of this country, was telling me yesterday, that Atiku told Jonathan to his face that I will not support you because you are not from the North and it's the turn of the North, before he walked out of that venue in 2014, the PDP convention.
Right.
And today, following the pulse of the nation, following the arrangement of written constitution, is the turn of the South to complete the remaining 4 years starting from 2027. And you still want to contest. Why are you distorting this peaceful arrangement?
Do you think Atiku is desperate?
You don't need to. Even the blind can see he's desperate. Otherwise, what to make you? If Atiku had been patient, I'm telling you, he would have been president. But with this level of desperation and trying to distort the unwritten, so to speak, constitution and the pulse of the nation, no, now it won't work. It can't be at 80. No, it won't. Nigeria is not Cameroon.
Interesting. But I need to ask you this real quick. Yes, Obi has moved to the ADC. He has brought again that verve into the APC, the ADC, as he did with the Labour Party in 2022. But then it's interesting that just yesterday, barely 24 hours ago, a court has ruled now that, look, the leadership of the Labour Party has now been handed over to Senator, Nandi-led committee, Ketika committee, that is. But you're now wondering, does it leave a guy like Peter Obi in between? Now saying that, I've already settled, I'm trying to settle into the ADC. It looks like where I'm coming from is getting better. Should I go back there? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, the Labour Party has become a brand of some kind within Nigeria's polity as it stands today. What does this mean for not just Obi, but for the opposition front, especially now that your PDP, for example, doesn't seem to have its 2 feet on the ground?
No, you see, a big group within the APC, the Labour Party were part of those, that Obi was part of those that said that the Nanadi Usman, former Minister of Finance, should take over as caretaker. Even following the constitution, the tenure of Abure has expired, but he insisted and went ahead. Even after the convention, the Supreme Court has made pronouncement that it's internal affairs of the party. And the party internal structure, being that the governor is like the leader of the party, since they don't have any national officer. The lead governor and others have said, no, your tenure has expired, and set up a caretaker committee. He refused and continued. Yesterday, the Federal High Court just reaffirmed what the Supreme Court has said, that the party affairs, moreover, when it comes to membership and leadership of a political party, is their internal affairs, putting into consideration, much especially when the process to which they emerge is not flawed. Then you have the court. The court doesn't have jurisdiction over such matters. So it's very clear and it's out of it. Now, yes, I agree with you. It has put Obi in a very tight corner because a lot of people are saying that, and Atiku has said in the last 2 weeks or so that he's not going to step down. And people do not appreciate the fact that Atiku will not step down. And if Labour Party is put in place, people will want to urge Obi to go back to the Labour Party. And that will be the end of ADC. So the ADC should talk to Atiku to step down and be call it a kingmaker, call it whatever. He should just do that and let the South take its 4 years. And maybe 2031, if you so wish to contest, fine, he can give it a term because he definitely will go to the North. But as it is 2027, no. So that is where the ADC will have a very serious challenge. If you notice, they have been dodging that question. If you interact with them and ask them, they will dodge that question. But the earlier you decide that, the more confidence you build in Nigerians to say, okay, yes, this is the direction. And that's why PDP quickly, decided that the presidency has been zoned to the South from 2027 to 2031. And it has given, some kind of direction to people. If not for these other issues that we are facing, we would have gone very far in terms of all that we would have achieved by now. So that is clear.
Now let's take a look at the prediction of Dr. Hakeem Datti Ahmed that spoke about if Atiku becomes the presidential candidate for ADC, there will be a collapse. Do you think that prediction is going to come to be, or is just mere words?
No, it's not mere words. I have had the opportunity to meet Dr. Datti, and he's very correct. And when I mean very 100% correct. And that's why I earlier said Atiku should appreciate Nigerians for the opportunity given in all these years and step aside. He should respect the South. Today as it is, Atiku is insulting the sensibility of the southern region by wanting to shortchange them. Why not allow these 4 years to go? You have not been all these years. If you don't be now, will you die? And Datti Ahmed is very correct about that. That is to tell you that Atiku is standing alone. The North is not with him. They not appreciate the fact that this relationship they have with their brothers in the South should continue, and it's working. So that is it. But Atiku want to distort it, want to destroy it because of his own ambition.
Not for the
people.
Nation.
Not for the people. So if you look at it, and that's why that it came up straight, and that is what people like us are expecting, that the ADC would tell him that, see, come, you are a leader, please step aside. Let's leave it for Southern candidate to jostle over it and see whoever that emerge, take it and fly the party ticket. But immediately I think we'll take that party ticket, that day the party will die. I 100% agree with Dr. Datti on that.
We can't have this kind of conversation and not go back to your home state, Rivers.
Exactly.
As it stands today, I mean, your governor has officially moved to the APC. Yes. Some people say that has become the undoing of Minister Nyesom Wike because he never saw that coming, or at least he never calculated it into his strategy going into 2027. However, he has said that, look, your defection from the PDP to the APC is not a guarantee of second term for you. But it appears, as they say in a structured work environment, that, look, Fubara jumped over the head of Wike to the president, so it appears that Wike is caught in the middle or some kind. We're saying the minister running around Rivers State recently, meeting Asari Dokubo at one point, later meeting Ateke Tom. I mean, these are prominent Ijaw leaders, you can't take that away. Again, it looks desperate on the one hand. On the other hand, does it not appear now that, politically speaking, the FCT minister is limping on one leg?
I want to totally agree with you. And you see, the governor played a very smart one on the FCT minister that made the FCT minister to press his panic button. So immediately press his panic button, and that's why you saw him moving from one local government to the other in the name of Thanksgiving, which is against the Electoral Act, Section 84, going around in the guise of whatever. INEC has not lifted ban for political campaign, because at the end you say support the president. We're on their mandate. It's wrong. So the governor played a smart one by rushing to make sure that he's able to meet with the president and, you know, get protection. It's all about protection. And that's why when I saw what happened, I said it will be the undoing of APC in Rivers State if they fail to protect the governor. Because believe you me, I've said it in this platform, several platforms, that Rivers State is a blue-blooded PDP state. The only thing that today will make them have that kind of result that does not have blood, not like the 2023 Rivers State result that came for the president, that is blood stained with blood. If they want to have clean result, that means they must protect the governor. Because the governor went there primarily for the purpose of protection. The president is aware of that. The party is aware of that. But today, the actions and the inaction of the APC National and the silence of the president is no longer golden.
So we can say at this point categorically that Governor Fubara is not being protected by the APC.
Yes, from what we're seeing, he's not being protected. Otherwise, he has sacrificed to join you. The FCT minister has not joined you. The FCT minister is unhappy with the fact that the governor has bypassed him to join the APC, to meet with the president and to, join the APC. He's not happy with that fact. It's like the governor beat him to his calculus on how to, put him on his knees. So he's not happy, and that was why he pressed his panic button as he started seeing the reaction and so on and so forth. Yes, but the APC, as we speak today, as we are observing, has failed in protecting him. So even Rivers people are saying, what is the essence of going to the APC?
But by extension, does that also mean that the APC might not be able to protect those other governors that moved from the PDP?
No, that is it. Because they are watching. We are beginning to hear some rumors. To the extent the national chairman said there is no automatic ticket for you to join, for any governors that have joined the party and so on and so forth.
So you still have to go to the field.
So you still have to go to the field. So you see that there's issue. And this issue will lead to implosion. And if not properly managed from top to bottom, APC will lose. Because they will be aggrieved. They went there, they see, my brother, I want to be honest. They didn't go there because they want to connect with the national as they claim. I will not use they are all lying. All they went there for is protection. The protection they are going there, if they don't get it, they'll be aggrieved. And some of them might work against the party. So if you have guaranteed them protection, give them the protection. Otherwise, your party will pay for it. And that is what will happen exactly in Rivers State. If APC fail to protect the governor, because it is clear the governor went there for protection. He said he's fed up with the conditions given to him. And I've said in one or two platforms, I said even the FCT minister's own son cannot, I will not be able to keep to those conditions. For crying out loud, this is a family man. This is a man that has his own, a grown-up man. You are telling him, giving him all those conditions. He has even sacrificed the local government chairman to you. You are still insisting, for crying out loud. Even though Machiavelli said there is no morality in politics, it doesn't mean that we Africans, we have that innate culture of having morals. So we should enshrine it in our political, culture too. So that's why the governor went there. And today, the murmuring that is going on in Rivers State is like the governor should go back to the APC, and if they want to kill him, they should kill PDP. If they want to kill him, they should kill him, because the APC has failed to protect him. The presidency's silence is no longer good. The president also has failed to protect him. So the people are beginning to be angry. The sympathy they have for the president, they are beginning to stand on one leg to say, the president must have given him assurance for him to have come to address Rivers people and said he's going to have free hand to govern. Then the next thing we are seeing is that no statement from the president that seems to be protecting him and his office, no statement from the party national. In fact, the other day, the national publicity secretary was, I don't know, when I watched that, I know that if they don't protect him, I'm assuring you, even though they tried to get the bloody result they had in 2023 from Rivers State, they will not get it this time. Because the people are that sentimental about what is happening in Rivers State today, and unhappy with the fact that they have sacrificed. It's like doing removing of the Rivers people, because it's in our DNA PDP. Now we are removing it. They want to remove it to join the APC just because they want you to protect the governor, and you have failed to do that. They will fail you.
All right, Ekiti has election this year. Osun has election this year. That's actually the crux of this conversation. The PDP is playing second fiddle at best at this point in time. Is that not pathetic and a pointer to what the PDP might also put up as a performance in 2027?
You see, you can't use that to compare what the PDP will be in the 2027. It's unfortunate that we have this situation at this point in time. We've not been able to resolve them, and because they are, they have to do with the courts. And we hope that the court will, be very quick in addressing this issue, considering the fact that we are going into election year very soon, But the Ekiti own, as we speak today, the party is still on it. Just like what happened to the court, the order the court gave concerning the FCT ADC candidates. It might come up. But it's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point whereby our own candidate's name will not appear on the ballot box. Is quite unfortunate, and that should not be used to judge us for the 2020 because the truth remains that Nigerians are in love with PDP. Nigerian believes in PDP because we have been in love with them, and then they reciprocated it, and go anywhere they will tell you our 16 years is the best.
All right, now quickly now before we wrap it up, now with all of these challenges facing the PDP, do you think there is still hope again? You will all rise above all of these challenges and come out stronger?
Definitely. That is the essence of challenges. When you're able to, definitely this is a challenge, no doubt about that, but we will come out of it refined, very refined, because now most of them we have seen some of the things that are not in public domain are coming out, and we have identified the fact that a lot of our leaders are greedy. In fact, why I'm not even that in fully support of the present Taraki NWC is because it's in the hands of only two persons, Bala Mohammed and Sheikh Makinde, and that is what we have been avoiding.
The strongman politics.
Yes. That is what is killing our internal democracy within the political party. And because a lot of Nigerians don't want to participate at the party level, they are only concerned at the general election level. Putting these two factors is affecting our internal democracy. So looking at it, these challenges we are facing today, believe you me, we'll overcome it, and we'll come out very strong and make Nigerians proud that has always kept faith and hope alive with us.
All right, we'd like to say a big thank you to you. We wish PDP the best. We hope PDP bounces back to its foots. But we would like to appreciate our guests this morning. What makes the Bokabo is a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, as well as a political analyst who has come to shed light on not just his party, the PDP, but also the political space and the evolution that we're now witnessing in our country. Well, this is what we're leaving the conversations this morning. Everyone would like to say a big thank you to you as well, reminding you as always that the views of our guests across all of our programs, including here on Global Morning, are their opinions. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. And our guest again, thank you for your wheels of knowledge on the topic of discuss. Have an amazing day ahead. From Uyi and I, we say bye-bye.
Wake up with Global Morning.